Hi, I'm Professor Stephanie, and in this video I'm going to show you how important it is to do a little practicing before you do some of your assignments. So I have taken my sketchbook, as you can see, turned it horizontally, and then there is a copy of an activity that you're going to do. It's activity, let's see here, 2.3 that's in your activity book. I have just enlarged it on a piece of paper, and that's available to you on Blackboard. And I'm going to put, you can see I've just taped this down using my drafting tape. I'm actually using my T-square to get the horizon line straight, and I also have a small triangle I'm going to use. So those are the tools I'm going to use. So we're going to get started here with our tracing paper right on top. And we're going to just review some of the aspects of one-point perspective and assist you with moving forward with the assignments. So as I mentioned, we start with a horizon line. And right now this horizon line is in the center of the page because we're going to draw boxes below the horizon line and above the horizon line. We've got our vanishing point right here, right in the center, and that's our key for getting all the the diagonal lines on the side of the box. So I'm using just a little colored pencil here, and I'm going to start with this left-hand box, and I always like to start with the flat front. One-point perspective objects have a flat front, okay? And that gives us our 3 points. 1, dots, points, 2, 3. And that's where I'm going to go back to the vanishing point. I'm going to use my triangle, and I'm going to put my point, I see where my pencil is, right on that point, and I'm going to pivot this over to this first dot, and I'm just going to create the top of this left-hand side of the box. I'm going to pivot over here to the right-hand side of the box using the vanishing point as the angle, okay? Then I'm going to get the top back to my triangle. It parallels these 3 lines, okay? Parallel lines. Those are really important when we talk about. There's one other line that I need to get from the vanishing point, and that's the bottom of the box. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, I'm going from point to point. And then when we think about this idea of parallel lines, here we go again. Parallel line, parallel line, parallel line. So we have created this box using straight, horizontal, vertical, and diagonal lines that come from the vanishing point. I'm going to finish this off quickly here. I'm adding the inside of the box where this point is. That's a 4th point, and that gives me the corner, and you can see, do that kind of quickly. So we have created a box on the left-hand side, looking down at the box so we can see inside it, okay? Let's do this box that's right on the horizon line. So again, I'm going to start tracing. Again, I'm just tracing this. You're going to do this assignment later without tracing, but this is what practice is all about. Practice is getting your eye and your hand used to doing and seeing and getting what's going on, all right? So right away, as a matter of fact, I can start with this flat front. So here we go. There's our flat front. And what happens, and I'm getting my parallel line here. This is my 3 points, but I can go back to my vanishing point. I'm just going to reinforce this here above the horizon line, here below the horizon line. So that gives me this side of the box. Parallel, 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 and then vanishing point and vanishing point. All right, So the last box we're going to do is this one up here on the top, okay? So let's start like we did before with the flat front. All right, so I'm just making those 4 dots right there, okay? So here comes my triangle. I'm pushing it against the my sketchbook so I can get a straight line, parallel. These are parallel lines that are straight. I'm using my tools to help. Again, this is reinforcing this idea of how do we draw one-point perspective objects, and how can we practice this with sort of the training wheels. It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever had an opportunity to learn how to ride a bicycle, or that we've got to, this is going to help us. All right, so here's our 1, 2, 3 dots right on that corner. I'm going to pivot on that vanishing point, and I'm going to start up here, come down. There's one of my lines. Here's the second one for the box, and here's the third one for the box, okay? Now we're going to go back to this idea of the back of the box. It's going to parallel the front, so I have a parallel here. The bottom is going to parallel the bottom that's in the front, so now we have the bottom in the back. All right, so we've worked with below the horizon line, on the horizon line, and above the horizon line. I'm going to show you how to open this box up. I actually like to put an edge on boxes. This is design drawing that you're doing, and in design drawing you want to have things be as realistic as they can. This is not an art interpretation. We are learning to draw realistically. All right, this time there's my little dot right there. I made it in yellow. I'm still going to go back here to the vanishing point, and then I'm going to make some imaginary lines. As a matter of fact, I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm going to pull this. What happens here on the inside is there has to be a crisscross. Okay, so if this were an opaque box, a box we could see, this is where it would meet each other. And the way I got that, I'll do that again. I went from this corner, like this is the back of the box here. If we could see through this box, if this were clear like glass, this is how we would get our inside here. This is the back of the box that we would see if it were solid. This is what we would see if it were not solid. Okay? So a couple of key things here: vanishing point, vertical lines, flat front. Get your points that you can use dot to dot, below, above, and at the horizon line. And remember, any kind of practice time you need ahead of time, please plan to do it. You know, it's interesting. I'm just going to play around a little bit here. As an artist and a teacher and an illustrator, I always practice before I start a final project. I like to look at objects. For example, I do a lot of nature work now, and with that, I'm looking at nature. I am practicing drawing, and the practice ahead of time helps me when I get ready for the final drawing to have my hand, my eye, all together have worked prior to that final project. And by the way, you get graded for the good work you do. You don't get graded just because you did the assignment. That's great. I appreciate that. But really, the skill that you're learning as you want to show that you're going to increase your effectiveness, the way you do it, and the more you do it, the better you're going to get. It's the practice thing. This is not a skill you just kind of check off. If you're not happy with your homework that you did initially, do it again. Okay? I don't need to see that first one. I just need to see the drawing that's the best, okay? That's what you want to hand in. You want to hand in the best drawing, and the best drawing may not be the first one. So have some fun with your assignments, and again, your tracing paper on top is a terrific way to do some hand-eye coordinating, understanding, get that brain involved, and get the assignment well done. Thank you.